This video is going to be very interesting. We're going to see the difference between a PVM and a consumer CRT, both 14-inch. This is a Sony PVM with 600 TV lines. But what I'm going to demonstrate here is the physical aperture grille, the phosphor pitch difference, which is one reason that the PVM can resolve more detail, but it's not a direct TVL resolution measurement. The rule signifies the black lines millimeters. But there's also the glass difference, so it won't be 100% accurate. Keep this in mind. And the lines are a little bit blurry, and also when you measure, by the way, we take also half of the line into account of the millimeter because they also take space. So again, this is roughly, we can see that we have around 4 RGB stripe groups per millimeter. So just put the lines so you can see in the middle. Now the millimeter line is the center there of the tick. So basically center to center, and of course it's kind of like 1 millimeter minus the thickness of the two ruler lines divided by the blurry, by this shadowy blur. And that's how I get these kind of full RGB stripe groups. Again, not taking into account the glass thickness. Now just know this is not TVL measurement. TVL is measured with the test pattern. So how many alternating vertical black white lines the CRT can actually resolve across width equal to the screen height. So this is not that. Next one is a 14-inch Sony Trinitron, measure about 250-300 TV lines. Again, this is a consumer TV, although I couldn't find the exact information. Nonetheless, it's not a PVM. Now, first of all, you notice that you can really see here the gaps. This is because the TV has a wider, softer electron beam and more bloom, so the glowing phosphor spread into the dark spaces between the stripes, or the scan lines, but people call the gap scan lines, but basically I'm talking about the drawn image. Now here it is about 1 to 3 to 1.5 groups per millimeter, so again you can see much less. So of course it's not exact comparison, but it demonstrates the physical aperture grille and phosphor pitch difference, which is the one reason the PVM can resolve more detail, but it's not a direct TVL resolution measurement. Now I'm just going to pause here so you can actually see. I try to align the rulers, so going to be more or less kind of the same width, one on top of each other, so you can clearly see the difference. So again, at the very top you can see that this is the CRT TV. More part of the bigger part of the image, of course, is the PVM. And at the bottom, these are just the millimeter lines from the ruler. Now, this is not aligned, but you can see how many of the RGB we can fit into 1 millimeter, and compared to again, the PVM is on the right and the TV is on the left. So again, in general, you can see that the PVM has much finer stripes and a tighter electron beam. So also the gaps stay visible and the image resolve more detail. On the consumer Trinitron, the softer beam blooms into those gaps, which is again why everything looks thicker and smoother. And using the ruler, we've seen that the PVM is around 4 RGB stripe groups per millimeter. Again, not taking, of course, the thickness of the glass into account, while consumer Trinitron is closer to 1.3 or 1.5 groups per millimeter, which is again roughly 2.5 to 3 times finer. Yeah, basically that's about it. If you have any insight about this to add in the comment section below. Yeah, if you find this one interesting, give also a like and consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Cheers.